The protagonists' lives are at stake in Marvel films. They risk losing respect and credibility if they do this. The heroes of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, frequently pay a personal or collective price for the choices they make. What are the sacrifices that they made? Those who did die for their cause occasionally left behind heartbroken loved ones. Stay in as we count down the 7 most difficult sacrifices made in the MCU. To begin, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, despite knowing the stakes, Ant-Man ventures into the quantum realm. In the 2015 film Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd, the protagonist Scott Lang volunteers to participate in a scientific study in which he would be shrunk to the size of an ant. In the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp, which came out in 2018, he struggled with the obligations of being both a father and the superhero Ant-Man. This time, to discover Ghost, he worked with Evangeline Lilly's character, the Wasp. Ant-Man makes the courageous choice to enter the quantum zone to collect the virtual quantum particles that Ghost needs to function correctly. Ant-Man was aware of the dangers in the quantum realm, yet he was the only one who went back into the quantum zone as the Van Dyne family followed his progress. He witnessed Janet Van Dyne's ordeal personally as she was held captive in the realm for several years. Ant-Man and the Wasp concluded that he probably did not see it coming, given that the Van Dyne family had vanished and Ant-Man had been imprisoned in the quantum zone. Next, at number 2, Wanda Maximoff breaks the hex, sacrificing her family. Wanda Maximoff is one of the most influential characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, yet she is, above all else, a woman who suffers from excessive loss. She suffers the loss of both her parents and her brother, and then when Thanos strikes, she also loses the man she has loved her entire life, Vision. Given the circumstances, it is not surprising that she would develop emotional instability. As a result of her sadness, she conjures up an enchantment that transforms the town of Westview into a picture-perfect utopia. This enchantment includes her copy of Vision, 2 children, and even a representation of Pietro. When Wanda learns what she has done, she is adamant that she will not release her hex, but in the end, she realizes that her acts are inappropriate. In the climactic scene of WandaVision, Wanda undoes the spell she cast, setting the people of Westview free. She may be the only one to blame for the crisis, but the fact remains that Wanda is willing to put her husband and her kids in harm's way to right the wrong she's caused. Moving on, at number 3, Spider-Man No Way Home depicts Spider-Man erasing his history. In Spider-Man Far From Home, 2019, although Spider-Man, Tom Holland, had a chance to win against Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, the general audience did not view him as the victor. Instead, Mysterio revealed a movie confession in which he said that Spider-Man attacked him for some reason and divulged that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. In the confession, Mysterio also revealed that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. In the episode Spider-Man No Way Home, 2021, Peter Parker asked Benedict Cumberbatch's character, Doctor Strange, for assistance in configuring a spell to make everyone forget that he was Spider-Man. The magic cast by Doctor Strange backfires and opens a portal to a multiverse containing multiple versions of Spider-Man and other villains. Doctor Strange tried casting the magic once more near the movie's end, which was successful this time. The spell was successful throughout the entire film. No one remembers Peter Parker. Peter Parker quickly lost his Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei, as the Green Goblin killed her. He also lost his friends, who no longer remember him after the Green Goblin killed him. Following that, at number 4, the character Groot uses his own body as a shield in the film Guardians of the Galaxy. The Ravagers included characters such as Peter Quill, Chris Pratt, a tree-like creature known as Groot, voiced by Vin Diesel, a raccoon known as Rocket, voiced by Bradley Cooper, Drax the Destroyer, Dave Bautista, and Gamora, Zoe Saldana. Groot, the trisyllabic Flora Colossus and best friend of Rocket Raccoon, made the audience love him and ultimately mourn his passing in the span of barely 3 acts. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot did an excellent job of selling his old soul aura as the silent sidekick to Rocket, who was more talkative, to such an extent that when he soberly evaluated the likelihood of his newly discovered family being crushed like bugs within Ronan's halted spaceship, it made perfect sense for him to enclose his companion snugly inside his branches and take the whole force of the crash on his own back. Then he changed his signature, which read, "I am Groot," to a final statement that read, "We are Groot," which undid everything. When the gang discovered that they were uninjured, it was a sobering realization. Nonetheless, Rocket kneeling in the wake of his friend's body added an extra layer of crying to the experience. This, however, was not the final chance for viewers to catch a glimpse of Groot. Rocket was able to resurrect Groot by planting a piece of him. Next up, at number 5, in Avengers Endgame, Natasha gives up her life for the Soul Stone. The Soul Stone was a component of the Infinity Gauntlet, consisting of 6 Infinity Stones. Nevertheless, to collect the Soul Stone, one of the heroes had to give up their usual way of life in Vormir. At first, Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, thought it would be necessary for him to give up his life to create the stone. Natasha Romanoff, played by Scarlett Johansson, did not want him to make that choice when he had a family to think about, including a wife and children he would leave behind. As the two people worked to prevent each other from falling off the cliff, Natasha finally told Clint it is okay, just before she pushed herself off the edge of the precipice. Clint is still troubled by the events after Avengers Endgame, 2019, although all of the heroes were devastated by Natasha's passing. Throughout the entirety of the Marvel film franchise, Natasha and Clint Clint were inseparable companions. In one of the films, it was revealed that one of Clint's children was going to be named like the actress. In the television series Hawkeye 2021, Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, looked all around New York City for Clint to kill him and exact revenge for the death of her sister. Moving on, at number 6, in Avengers Endgame, Iron Man saves the day but pays with his life. After the ultimate battle between Thanos and all of the assembled Avengers, the Mad Titan emerges victorious but still in possession of the Infinity Gauntlet. Iron Man steps in at the 11th hour, uses his nanotechnology to seize the Infinity Stones and saves the day. Even though Tony is protected by armor, the stones still cause obvious pain. Yet, he can still snap his fingers and win the battle against Thanos and his army. He succumbs to the radiation, and his loved ones and friends are all there to see him off as he passes away. The fact that after everything that had transpired, Tony finally had a family with Pepper and their daughter Morgan makes the sacrifice he made an even more heartbreaking experience. He will forever be known as Iron Man, the hero who defied all expectations, confronted his biggest nightmare, and triumphed over it. Finally, at number 7, in Thor: Love and Thunder, Jane sacrifices herself to save Thor. Thor Odinson feared his old hammer Mjolnir was gone for good. Thor, Chris Hemsworth, confronted his villainous sister Hela, Cate Blanchett, in Thor Ragnarok and lost, at least initially. Hela shattered Thor's mighty hammer in a deadly stroke. Mjolnir reappears in the next film, Thor: Love and Thunder, and, like a fickle pet, has chosen a new owner, Thor's ex-girlfriend, scientist Jane Foster. The hammer does appeal to Jane, Natalie Portman, who is enduring chemotherapy for stage 4 cancer. The hammer, which can be taken up by individuals deemed worthy, aids her transformation into Thor and provides her with health and strength, at least temporarily. After reconciling as a couple, Jane and Thor finally realize that the hammer is stealing her life essence. Thor wants Jane to drop the hammer so they can spend more time together. However, as Thor is on the verge of being killed by the wicked Gore the God Butcher, Christian Bale, Jane changes into Thor to save her true love. Her decision eventually kills Jane, yet we see in the end credits that she has a hero's afterlife in Valhalla. Thor is taken aback by Jane's change. Her demise may surprise moviegoers. However, Marvel Comics fans were probably unsurprised by the plot twist. The film resembles a previous scene in which Jane Foster, battling cancer, takes on the mantle of Thor and sacrifices her life. Well, that marks the end of our video. We hope you enjoyed and loved it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching.